Welcome to the Perfectionist Guide to Mothering. I'm Andrea Fortenberry, and I'm here to help you break up with perfectionism, unrealistic expectations, and mom guilt to enjoy motherhood and love this one and only beautiful life God has given you. In these episodes, we will be real, vulnerable, and have fun too. My hope is that you will walk away encouraged and equipped for the hard and amazing work of motherhood. Hi, listeners. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to let you know that I am hosting Restore Soul Care for Moms in Arizona on Tuesday, June 30th, and I'm so excited to partner with Rock Point Church to bring you this night of encouragement. My friends Noelle Rhodes and Jess Carey, who both have been on this podcast before, are going to join me. It's going to be a fun time of refreshment, encouragement, and just a night for you to breathe and be poured into in your role as a mom. I will put the link for tickets in the show notes, and also there is childcare available, but it's filling up fast, so make sure that you reserve your spot or get on the wait list soon. So we would love to see you there Tuesday, June 30th at Rock Point Church in Queen Creek, Arizona. Welcome to episode 146 of the Perfectionist Guide to Mothering. Today I have the privilege of chatting with Jody Hill. Jody is a best-selling author, speaker, and parent educator who helps parents become the loudest and most positive voice in their child's life by harnessing the power of their everyday words. With a BA in speech communication, executive coaching certification, and over a decade of hands-on parenting experience, she combines practical insight with relatable, real-life stories and easy-to-apply strategies. She is the author of the Amazon bestseller, The Parent's Secret Superpower, which we're going to chat all about today. And Jody lives outside of Nashville, Tennessee, where she is the proud wife to an incredible husband, mom to 4 confident kids, and bonus mom to 1 precious daughter. Welcome, Jody.
Thanks so much for having me, Andrea. I just love getting to have conversations and be on podcasts like yours where we can just be real and honest and authentic and help parents. And I love what you're doing. And thank you for letting me be a part of that.
Oh, absolutely. It's my pleasure. And yeah, thanks for what you're doing. And I'm excited we get to chat about it. And I love the practical, right? Like, so
Yes.
we'll dive into that. So I love how you give practical strategies. So I can see, for those of you watching on video, we can see Jody's book cover in the background. It's awesome. So let's just cut to the chase, Jody. What
Let's do
is
it.
this secret superpower that you say parents have?
Yes. You often come home from the hospital or we're birthing our children at home and we're like, okay, this baby came out, but where's the user manual that came with it? Right.
Right,
Like,
right.
oh, I'm missing something. And it can be easy to think, man, like we have so much that we don't know. So do I need to get a PhD? Do I need to attend 50 courses? And like, God, I need what do I not have? And the beauty of it is God has given us everything we need to be a mom, to be a dad. And there are things that we don't know, which is why it's great to have podcasts like yours and resources. But the cool thing is I believe that God has given us a superpower, and it's our words. And I think what is so cool is like from the beginning of time, we look at the story of Genesis. How did God create? Did he have a hammer and nails? He spoke. And the word says that we're created in his image. And so he has also given us the ability, there is power behind our words. And not only does the Bible just talk about it, but as I began my journey into this, like science proves it as well. So I'm like, God, how cool are you? So the secret superpower that we have is, and I call it secret because a lot of parents don't even realize that they have this power. And it's like what Spider-Man says, his uncle, right? He's like, with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Yes.
So my heart and my mission is to equip parents to yield the superpower that they have for good. Because when we speak, some effect and impact is happening. Is it negative bringing life, or is it negative bringing death, or is it positive bringing life? And so that is my heart, to really equip parents to bring life with the words they speak and realize their impact that they're making.
I love that. Yeah, we're all speaking words all the time. And so really being intentional about them and analyzing, I think, is an important component as a
Yeah.
parent. And like you said, when we look back at our own childhoods, we can all think of positive words, negative words, and what those have meant to us and how we've carried them through. So I love us being intentional to think about how are we speaking to our kids? How are we speaking to our kids' friends? How are we speaking about our kids that they might
Yes.
overhear? And so,
100%. Yep.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I am definitely a word person. Like right here on my bookshelf next to my desk, I have all these notes that people have left me over the years, and I
I
keep
keep those
cards. Yeah,
too.
I have a whole box of
Yes.
cards people give me because words are just so impactful. So I think that just proves the point of what we're talking about
Mm,
today.
that's so good.
Yeah. Well, tell us, Jody, what inspired you to write the book? What's the backstory?
It really came to a head, and that's just how the cool way that God works. I feel like it was all of these different things like coming together. But I would say the biggest catalyst for where this was birthed out of when I was going through a really difficult time in my life and I was stepping into divorce. Not something I ever wanted to do or ever planned to do, but this was my reality of where I was. And at the time I had four young kids. So I had a 2 year old, a 3 year old, a five, and an almost 7 year old. So they were
Mhm.
young. And
Yeah.
the thing that I was afraid of with divorce was like the messaging that's out there that,
Mm,
which not that it's not true, but just like, hey, when the statistics about divorced children, their anxiety, their self
mm,
esteem, like all of these like negative impacts, right? And so it was twofold for me. One, I realized, like, wait, I am not going to align myself with this belief that because this is what I'm choosing for me and for my family, that my kids are just going to be screwed up. So, one, that was really powerful. Like, our beliefs, right? And our words impact our beliefs. And
right.
then the other thing was like, okay, my kids are going to go through something that no kid should ever have to go through, right? And the reality is our as we live life, we are going to go through things that God never intended to happen.
Mm,
But how can I stand with my kids? And what can I do on my end to do the best that I can in my hands to impact them and empower them, give them confidence, give them the skills to navigate life's challenges, whether that be divorce, whether that be going through a really rough breakup, whether that be bullying at school? How can I do that? And that just really got me into this journey of diving into like not just the faith of it, because I've known all those scripture verses growing up
mhm.
about, the tongue has the power of life and death and all these different scriptures that support that, but then also diving into science. Like, is this just some like woo woo the Bible says, but like no, like the coolness of God is like that's actually backed up with science, which is so awesome. And
Right.
so that was really the pivotal point in my journey. And then tying that back to, oh, my childhood and the words that were spoken to and over me and the things that I was already doing with my children. And then now I got to be even more intentional. And then it just kind of fell into a book as I was just sharing with the people. Like I never
Yeah.
set out to be an author, never wanted to be an author when I was a kid. I wanted to be an actress and a model, neither of which happened. But here we are today, and I'm at least an author. So that's where the book came out of,
Yeah.
was the passion of what I learned and the impact that I saw
Mm,
it make.
mm. That's awesome. Well, we've mentioned it a little bit, but about the science behind our words and how it impacts like our physical body. So would you
Yeah.
share a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Just how God, I've said this already, like a few times, but how God works is just so cool, right? And so I first came across the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto, and he is a scientist in Japan. And I was pregnant with my fourth child at the time, and what he did these what's called water experiments. And so he took water from a lake in Japan and he split them into two groups. So group number one, he spoke positive things to it and wrote positive things like love, played nice music, put good intentions and thoughts towards this water sample. And then for the other water sample, he did the opposite. He wrote like on the jars like I hate you, and played like really like depressing hard
Right.
music, all the things, just this really negative environment. The water samples, he froze them and then he looked them under a microscope, and the results were absolutely incredible. For the snow, for the not snow, for the water samples that got frozen that had positive words, you see beautiful crystals and snowflakes. And for the negative words, you see the opposite. You see like big blobs. And it's crazy. And it's like, whoa, what is even happening here? Right.
Yeah.
And the coolness of all of that is like, it's showing that our words can even impact water. So you think about our bodies. What are our bodies made mostly of? Water.
Water.
And fun fact, I didn't know this until I was doing all this stuff, that kids actually have a higher percentage of water ratio in their
Oh,
bodies than adults do.
interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Interesting. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, if our words have that power just to impact the physical body, like what else is happening? What else is doing? What else is being done? And like everything we say to our kids is impacting them, whether we want it to or not. And so that's what
Mhm.
I just think is so amazing about how God works is he has given us an ability. And you think about most of the medical issues that people have comes from stress and
Yes.
anxiety. And where does that stress and anxiety come from? It comes from beliefs, the
Right.
beliefs that we have and how we interact with life and how we view life. And as parents, we are given this beautiful opportunity to birth these children and take care of them. And we are the first people that they come to for their survival, but also their identity and their beliefs and who they are and what they're capable of. And so it's a heavy responsibility, but it doesn't have to be complicated or hard. And that's why I'm like, I'm going to make this simple. Let's do 7 simple strategies that we can start with right now to start
Yeah.
shifting the way that we show up with the kids so we can raise confident
Mhm.
kids.
Yeah. So good. So you mentioned about our beliefs and how they shape our identity. So
Yeah.
yeah, how for our children, like as young, little young ones, like how does that start? Like their beliefs in themselves really shape who they are, and then how can we positively speak into that process?
Yeah. It comes with the little words that we say. We were at an event and there was a young kid, maybe 3. And this poor mama, she has a lot of kids. She was tapped out, and the little kid innocently just like tipped over something from the buffet
Mm.
table and it spilled on the ground. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, you were always making a mess. You were so messy." And that may be very true. I'm not saying that wasn't reality, right? Especially her reality, right? But what is that speaking over that child?
Right.
My kids' rooms, they magically get messy so fast. Right? And what I want to do is I want to come in there and be like, oh my gosh, you guys are so messy. But that's me speaking an identity over them, as
Mhm.
opposed to this room is pretty messy. I have seen you guys clean and organize before, and I know you do a really great job when you put your mind to it. Let's start picking this room up,
Mhm.
okay? Such a big difference
Right.
because the words that we speak become beliefs in our children, which becomes their identity, which impacts how they show up in the world. So if they are raised in our care from a young age through preteens to teens, always hearing, you're lazy, I can't trust you, but like all of these identity statements, how secure and confident do you think they're going to feel in themselves? And when they come into a room with other peers and other adults in the workforce, do you think they're going to come up into this room and being like, hey, I know I don't have all the answers, but I know how to figure things out. I know I'm not going to get things perfectly every time, but it's okay if I make mistakes. It's not my
Right.
identity. And if I do make a mistake, I know how to problem solve and troubleshoot and try again. We're
Mm.
not going to get
Love that.
adults like that if they're constantly just spoken negatively to. So, as parents, we get to create this environment where we get to encourage them and call them up, call the best out
Mhm.
in them, right? And it
Mhm.
all starts with our words.
Mm. Yeah, I love how it separates the behavior from their identity and their
Yes.
personhood of like,
Yes.
you made this mess, not you are messy or you are
Yes.
always messy, especially those always never
Oh,
statements
so
like
not
are,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we got to be
Abort,
careful about
abort.
that. Yes.
And you
We
know,
have
a
to be
lot of this
careful.
work, yeah, like a lot of this work starts with us as parents and our beliefs. And that's one of my superpower strategies that I talk in the book is stand against villainous beliefs. And
Mm.
what I mean by that is how many times have you heard, oh, the terrible twos are coming. Oh, the ferocious fours. You just wait. Oh my gosh, just wait till they're teenagers. This is how it's going to be. Like we hear
Right.
those all the time. And I have raised 4 kids, not to adulthood. They're now 7, 8, 10, and 12. But I did not go through the terrible twos with any of my children.
Mm.
And why do I think that is? Do I have perfect children? No, I don't. But it's been my belief and my mentality.
Mm.
And when I believe something a certain way, I'm going to start looking for that. And how our brains are wired is they are wired to prove us right. So if I'm about to have an interaction with my 2-year-old and I'm coming from the viewpoint of they're in a challenging time, they're going to challenge me, they're going to fuss, they're going to be blah, 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 they're out to get me, all the things.
Yeah.
How is that going to impact even how I show up with them?
Yeah.
Right. So I've got this great story if you want to hear it.
Yeah. Let's hear
All right.
it.
So my child at the time, my oldest child, first kid, he was probably 2.5. I don't remember. I had him sitting up on the counter in our kitchen. Maybe he was 3. And I had just finished like cleaning the whole kitchen, right? And I'd given him a juice box, something he hadn't really had many before. So I'm super proud of myself. Finally, I can take a deep breath. Kitchen's clean. And I turn my back to him, and all of a sudden, I hear liquid splashing on my brand new clean counter. I turn around, and there's my son with his juice box upside down, squishing it. So in that moment, like one could freak out, which there was an internal freak out for sure.
Right.
But how I respond in that moment is completely shaped by how I see my child.
Mm-hmm.
Is he in this terrible 2 phase where he is being terrible? Oh my gosh, what are you doing? Here you are making another mess. Stop. Give me that juice box. Fine, I'm going to clean this up. And I grab him and I throw him in another room, right? What behavior am I getting from him in that moment? He's going to start kicking, screaming, fussing,
Right.
because all of a sudden, like, what's going on for him is he just simply had a juice box he had never had before or barely. And he's just like, what happens when I turn this
He's
upside down?
curious. Yep.
And all of a sudden, mom's yelling at him, swooping him, grabbing him, and pulling him away from the room. Like, what is going on in that moment? And so, what I did, which I don't always get this right, let me preface that. But what I did was, okay. All right, let me take that juice box. Let's turn it up right. Okay. So, juice is for drinking. If you don't want to drink it, that's okay. But we're not going to squirt it inside. We're going to squirt it outside. And once it's gone, it's gone. So, see all the juice on the counter? Here's a paper towel. Let's wipe it up. So, this approach is completely different. My child was calm. There was no shame. There was no
Right.
yelling. There was no screaming. There was no crying. And it actually brought us closer together, too.
Yeah.
So, my goal, like with what I do with my children to raise kids who are confident and capable and whatever, is that I want them to be able to take responsibility, but without shame
Yep.
and take that ownership, like without fear. Like you made a mess. It's okay. I made messes too. Let's
Yep.
wipe it up.
Yeah.
And so when we can believe the best in our kids, like in those situations, and just get to their level, get where they're at, have grace, call them up, let them have ownership, like it will change your dynamic with your children 100%, whether they're 2 spilling juice or they're coming in the door at 16 and they've failed a test. And your
Mhm.
response is, oh, that is such a bummer that you got a low grade. I'm really sorry. What do you think didn't work about this time for studying that you could do differently next time? Like ownership, right?
Yep.
So if we can show up with our kids in that way, like it's so powerful.
Yeah, it's huge. I love the juice box analogy because I had a kind of an aha moment when my son, he's my younger, spilled a juice box as well. And I was meeting with our women's ministry director at church, and I had brought him along and a little lunch and had his snacks and his juice out. And I look over and it had spilled, or I don't know, maybe he was squeezing it, but there was liquid all over the table. And my normal reaction would have been like, why did you do this? Like, you have to
Yeah.
be careful. Like, I
Yeah.
really saw my kids' messes at that point in my life, like as obstacles to a peaceful day, that they were
Yes.
disrupting the peace that I wanted.
Yeah.
But I was so grateful that I was with Jana, my friend, because she just like kept our conversation. She's like, "Uh-oh, William," and she like grabbed some napkins and cleaned it up and is like, "Here you go," wiped it off. And she
Wow.
just showed me that there was a better way to do it. That like either
Um,
way the mess gets cleaned up,
yeah.
but we can use our words to shame our kids, like to make them upset for making messes, which we all make even as adults still. We knock things
No.
over, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Or or I could just carry on, like be calm, see that this was just an accident and not make it a big deal. So that was like a
Yeah.
huge aha to me to realize, oh, I can choose my response instead of
Yeah.
reacting and just kind of spewing negative
Yeah.
words.
That's so good. I love what you said, where like your inclination was to look at that situation as this is an obstacle to my day. This is an obstacle to like the next thing that I need to do. This is an obstacle to what I'm trying to accomplish in this space. That's so good. And like if we can have that mental shift of instead of looking at it, this is an obstacle, is this is an opportunity to
Right.
teach my child here. What can I teach them in this moment? Oh, mistakes are okay. How to clean up. They're capable to clean up their messes. That I'm a
Right.
team with them and we can do this together. Like if we can shift that, then it's just so powerful.
Yes, for sure. And it's just so interesting how when we really analyze like the stuff that's in us, like maybe it's how our parents reacted or
Yeah.
what we see in culture of like, yeah, just having that not intentional response, but just the
Right.
reaction. And so I think
Yeah.
it's just important to analyze for ourselves as parents, like, why do I react this way? Like, how can
Right.
I choose a better response?
Yeah. And I don't know if this is true for you, but I think sometimes our reactions that we have to our kids, like you had said, kind of can come from our own story or also just the pressure that we feel like because we're embarrassed. So for parents, I don't know if you resonate with this, but you probably do, where sometimes the way that we interact with our kids comes from a place of insecurity because we're maybe embarrassed by them.
Mhm.
I remember being at a pool a couple of years ago. One of the kids' school friends had come and it was time to like dive into the watermelon and we were sharing it. And this kid is like going to town and it's just like dripping on his chest. And it's like, we're at the pool, like, who
Yeah.
cares? But the mom's response to that was like shocking. She was
Mhm.
like berating him, being like, what are you doing? It's all like dripping down your chest, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, you're such a heathen.
Oh.
I'm like, what? Like,
Oh.
what is even happening right now?
Right.
And I was just like, oh, we got wet wipes. It's not a big deal. And I'm just like, but I, what I make up about this situation is she was probably embarrassed about her
Right.
son. So instead of doing her own inner work on that, being like, okay, I know it's hard at the moment, but like, what's coming up for me? Oh, I'm embarrassed. Like, how can I handle this in a healthy way? Right. She just like berates her son. And it just like broke my heart. And I'm like, Jesus, help me not to show up with my kids that way out of my own like performance and anxiety and how I want
Right.
them to like present to everyone. And
Yeah.
yeah,
That's so good because I think we do get embarrassed and we feel like our kids' behavior is a reflection on our mothering and
yeah,
us as a
100%.
person. And I remember when my daughter, would have temper tantrums, I was just like, what am I doing wrong? But
Yeah.
really recognizing she's 2 and 3, like this is totally normal behavior and it's not anything I'm doing or not doing. And I
Yes.
think when we recognize that, and my mom encouraged me, like, just have a little script. Like, if she's throwing
Mhm.
herself on the floor out in public, just be like, she's 2. We're working through this. We're
So good.
we're working on this skill. If it's kids spilling or lacking manners, like we can just say, you know what, we're working on this, and
That's
that's all
so
the
good.
explanation that we have to give anybody.
Right. That's so good. Yeah. My kids are not
Yeah.
perfect, nor am I. We're doing our best. Back up.
Right. Right.
Keep your judgments
Exactly.
to yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, Jody, do you have any other practical tips that you want to share from the book that parents can implement?
Yeah, I would love like just to encourage parents, if you're anything like me, I love my kids and I would say most parents love their kids and want to do right by them and we want to equip our kids for the world, right? But it can be very easy and actually goes against what we're trying to do when we do everything for our children.
Mm,
So I'm a natural helper. Like if I see
same.
my kids struggling, okay, so you get it, right? Like I'll go and help them or, whatever it may be. And those are actually opportunities to let our kids learn like how to do hard things. And so I'm not saying just like leave them to their own devices and be like, figure it out. But I think a really great example of this is when my oldest daughter was learning how to tie her shoes. And there was a particular day, and I was single momming it at the time, trying to get everyone out the door on time, fully clothed, like
Yes.
that's a win, right? And so I come down the hallway and I see her, and she's sitting on the floor, and she just has tears running down her cheeks. And she's got her shoes right in front of her,
Mhm.
not on her feet. I immediately assessed the situation. I could see what was going on. And just a side note for parents that when our kids are dysregulated, and she's obviously dysregulated here, crying, upset,
Yeah.
The worst thing we can do for them is to disqualify what they're feeling. You're fine,
Right.
you're okay, blah, blah, blah. Like that is not helpful.
Yeah.
Like when you are upset as an adult with a mature brain, when you're upset about something, you go talk to your girlfriend and your girlfriend says, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Let's just go out for ice cream. You're fine. It's like, I'm not fine.
I'm not right.
Right. That is not helpful. Right. But we often do that with our kids.
Mm.
So anyway, I come up next to her. I'm like, oh, I see that you're really upset. You look frustrated. Are you frustrated? Yes. I was like, what's going on? Are you trying to tie your shoes? Yes. And I was like, I get that. I was like, I remember being your age learning how to tie my shoes. And it was frustrating at times and it was hard. So I totally get that. Eventually I got it though. And I know you can too. Do you want me to show you how to tie your shoes again? She's like, yes. So I show her and then I untie it. And I was like, okay, now it's your turn. And I'm right there with her, cheering her on, being willing to help a little bit if I need to, right? But letting her do it, letting her struggle through it. And sure enough, she gets her shoes tied and she's pumped and she's excited and she's floored. And so not only is that just a great moment, like right then and
Right.
there, but I'm setting her up for the future of
Right.
when hard things happen, it's okay not to be able to do it the first time. Mommy's hasn't been able to do things the first time. I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to be willing to cheer you on. You can do hard things. And it's just such a great building moment for them that adds, that continues to add on and build each other when they become
Right.
older. And so if we come in and swoop in that situation and tie the shoes to them, you're okay, you're okay. We've actually robbed them of a chance to build
Mhm.
confidence. We
Mhm.
don't give our kids confidence, they actually have to build it. And by us swooping in,
Right.
that subconsciously tells them that I don't think you're capable to do this on your own, so I'm going to do it for you.
Right. Yeah, it's huge. And it's one of those things that, like when you turn your course like just a few degrees, it like sets you on a different path. I think that's one
Mhm.
of those things that as moms, yeah, we're rushing, it's inconvenient. And so we're like, we just need to do this and get this
Yes.
done. But like,
Yes.
maybe that's okay a couple, but
Yeah.
long term, it's going to get
Yes.
us on and our kids on a different course of them thinking I can't do things on my own. Like
Mm.
I'm not capable, but really we
Yeah.
want them to
To
feel
be capable.
capable and develop that confidence. Like you said, those skills are like muscles. Like they have to be worked out
Yes,
in
I
order
know.
for them to be built. And it's so hard because it's funny, as moms, we see often, I mentioned, like we see our kids as being obstacles to like our
Yeah.
peaceful day. We don't want our kids to suffer or have hardship. So then we become obstacles to them growing and thriving. So we have to be really careful about that.
Yeah. And then they're always looking to us not to be their champion, but to be their savior, right?
Yes.
Like, hey, mama, how are you going to rescue me from this? You're going to fix this, right? It's like,
Right.
no, yes.
Right. It's easier to nip it in the bud,
Yes,
sooner
do
than
it. Start
later.
now. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's really helpful. And, there's times where we can be helpful to our kids with things that they are capable of, but
Yes.
it's truly helping, not preventing them from being responsible. Or, like, for example, my daughter is a senior in high school now. So we're just as we're recording this, like the last couple of weeks of school.
That's
And
crazy.
one of the things that I help her with in the morning is like filling up her water bottle because she's like getting her keys, getting her brother ready. And so it's just a simple thing I do, but it's just more of like a little act of love, not me like trying to
Right.
fix her day or let her get off the hook by filling her water. It's just a little love thing
Right.
that I get to do right now.
Yeah, it's not like she doesn't know how to fill her water bottle,
Right.
right? And she's helping with her brother and stuff like that. And it's
Right.
like, I have a friend and her sons have never done a piece of laundry in their life.
Mhm.
And she just loves to do it for them. Even now that her son is in college, he comes back and brings his laundry to her. And I think for her, it is an act of love. But I'm like,
Mhm.
and yet, like,
Yeah.
do they know how to do it themselves? Is this what they're going to expect when they're married, right? Like,
Right. Right.
so there's definitely about balance. I think it's an awareness that like, why are we doing this? Is this helping or hindering my kid? And those are always great questions to ask.
Yeah, yeah. I think in every season too, as like new things come up, it's like, okay, this is a question to keep coming back to.
Right. Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Well, Jody, that's so all of your advice has just been so great, so practical. So, listeners, I encourage you to get a copy of Jody's book, and I will put the link in the show notes. But now we'll move to our fun questions at the end of the episode. So, first one
Sweet.
is yeah, let's do it. First one is what are you reading, watching, or listening to these days?
So I have a stack of a few books. I like pick at them at all at the same time. So one book I'm reading is Raising Mentally Strong Kids, and it's
Okay.
so good. By Dr. Amen and Dr. Faye, and like so good. It's like what I talk about, but at like a medical like PhD level, but approachable,
Yeah.
like readable for parents. There's that.
Yeah.
And then someone else just recommended this book called The Eight Great Smarts. Have you heard of that one?
No.
So it's essentially talking about how like our kids are inherently smart, but there are different ways. Some are tactile smart, some
Hmm.
are logically smart. And then the second book to that is like how you can apply that in homeschooling. So I've got those.
Oh, cool.
And I'm currently going through a Bible study about this one book that I'm really excited about. It's called The Fourth Dimension. And it is
Okay.
about like the power of prayer in the spiritual world and how it works. And so I'm really excited about that one too. So
Very cool. Well, I
that's
will
what I
check
got.
those. Yeah, I'll check those out and put them links in the show notes for listeners too. Next question. What is a product, service, or practice that makes your life easier?
Hmm. Amazon for like $7. I have these kid chore charts,
Oh,
and it has been so amazing. You can like fill in the slots, and then they have a little button they can move back and forth. And so it was so helpful with all of my kids, like when they had school or they weren't coming home, or even
mhm.
like nighttime stuff. Instead of like,
Yeah,
did you put your jammies on? Did you brush your teeth? Did you floss your teeth? Did you straighten your room? Did you pick up something from the bathroom? Like we was constantly doing this morning, night. And so
right.
my sister gave me this brilliant idea, and I was like, this is amazing. And so they're like, Mom, I think I'm ready for bed. I'm like, are you? Check your list. Like ownership,
Yeah,
right? So that has
yeah,
made my
for
life
sure.
so much simpler.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, because that takes all of that out of your mental space and like puts it on the chart and they can follow it. Again, we're making them capable.
That's right.
Yes, love that. Awesome. What is your best self or soul care tip for moms?
Hmm. I'd say spending time with the Lord,
Mm,
just whether that be, a quiet time that I'm able to get in the morning or just talking to him throughout the day, or it's I'm in the middle of an SOS moment with one of my children and I'm like, God, I don't know what to do here. Your word says, ask for wisdom
mm,
and you will give it. It says that in James. So I'm calling you on your promise. Like I need wisdom on how to navigate this situation right now.
yeah,
And that has been so helpful.
yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, and each of our kids is different. So I feel like even, similar stage, like kids from same parents, like kids are different. They're wired differently, just like that book you recommended. Like they have different smarts, different strengths.
Right.
And so what works for one doesn't always work for the
No,
others.
I wish it did.
So God is the important piece of that, asking him for help for
Yeah.
sure. Next question. What is God teaching you in this season?
I think God is in a season of growing my faith. Like there
Mm,
are things that I'm like believing for and advocating for and standing for, just and how he even like uses me like with my book. And then as my kids are now like in the preteen years and also
yeah.
like in my marriage, like I'm remarried to this incredible man. It's like, God, what more do you want to do? Like
Mm,
personal growth, all the things.
yeah.
And so there was this beautiful thing that was said yesterday at the Bible study where like faith was often thought as like believing hard enough for something,
Mm,
but faith is actually trusting God through whatever comes and whatever
so
happens. And
good.
like
Yeah.
that is what like I want to continue to grow.
Mhm.
And that is just trusting God that whatever may come, like I trust in you that you know what's good. I may be praying for $1 million, but he may know that that's not the best thing for me or like whatever.
Right,
Right.
right.
And so just
For
knowing
sure.
that he ultimately like has me.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, and I think that can help just really ground us as moms of because it's easy to think about all the what ifs and,
Yeah.
dangers of the world and things like, no,
Yeah.
we're just gonna have faith that if something happens, God will be there. And if this is what life looks like, and he's here in it too. So
Yeah. So grounding.
yeah, for sure. Well, Jody, this has been so fun. So just one last question for you is if people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Yes. So Instagram is a great place. Probably not to direct message me because I'm not really great at checking DMs up until now. But Instagram is just simply Jody Hill Parenting. And then for your listeners, if they would love to get the first superpower strategy, I would love to give it to them. So I'll give you I provided you the link and you'll have it in the
Yep.
show notes, I'm sure. And so you can get the first superpower strategy from my book. You can get it in audio form, which is awesome because you
Oh,
can
that's
do it
fun.
while you're folding laundry or in the carpool line or whatever. It's also
Yes.
available as a PDF. And then I created this confidence boosters and busters because many parents are like, okay, I realize that my words are powerful. How do I start? Maybe they don't want to get the book yet or
Mhm.
whatever. And so it's like, what can I equip you to start impacting your kids today? So I have my top confidence things that you can do for your kids and also the busters. Like,
Mm.
how are ways that you are showing up with your kids, maybe even unintentionally, that are impacting their confidence? So that is included as well if they go to podcast.itsjodyhill.com.
Awesome. Well, like you said, I will put all of that in the show notes. Thank you for those resources. Thanks for your amazing book and for being here with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And speaking of books, congratulations on your own. Like
Thank
that's awesome.
you.
It
Thank
sounds
you.
so great. Like I'm gonna get a copy and support
Oh,
you. That's the
oh,
best thing
I
people can do
appreciate
for each other, right? Like
it.
authors is just like buy the book, support, leave a review. And so I
Yes.
know writing a book is a labor of love. So congratulations to you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been really fun to launch it out in the world. So I appreciate that.
That's awesome. Yay.
All
Well,
right.
thanks for having me. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Oh, it's been so fun. Thank you.